Right now, in zone 5 to 6, you have about 2 weeks left to take a rose cutting that will actually root. Miss it, and you're waiting until next June. But before you go grab your pruners, there's something almost nobody tells you about rose propagation. It's not about technique, it's not about timing, it's legal. And depending on which David Austin roses you're growing, in propagating them from a cutting for your own garden might already be against the law. I'm going to show you exactly how to check, exactly what you can legally and successfully propagate right now, and the 6-step process that actually gets you a rooted plant, not a cutting that looks alive for 3 weeks and then quietly dies. Let's get into it. Why this 2-week window matters. There are 3 types of rose cuttings based on the key maturity of the stem, and they behave completely differently. Softwood cuttings, taken from a stem that just finished its first flush of blooms, are the fastest and most reliable to root. The tissue is actively growing and receptive. In zone 5 to 6, that's late June through mid-July. Semi-hardwood cuttings, taken in late summer, root more slowly but produce sturdier plants. Hardwood cuttings, taken after fall dormancy, are the slowest of all. Some won't show roots until the following spring. If you're watching this in the second half of July or later here in zone 5 to 6, you've missed the softwood window. That's not the end of the world, but it does mean adjusting your expectations and your method, which I'll cover at the end. For everyone else, this is your window right now. The legal reality most gardeners never check. Here's the part almost nobody covers. Plant patents are real. They apply to roses. They last 20 years from the filing date, and during that time, the patent holder, usually the breeder, has the exclusive legal right to reproduce that plant. Asexual propagation, cuttings, grafting, budding, without the patent holder's permission, is a violation of intellectual property law, even for personal home use, even if you never sell a single cutting. Look at the label on any rose you've bought recently. If you see the words propagation prohibited or a patent number, usually listed as PP followed by a number, that plant is protected. Many of the most popular David Austin roses sold today are still under patent. If you're taking cuttings from one of those for your own garden, you're technically in violation. Enforcement against individual home gardeners is rare, but it's worth knowing the rule even if you choose to accept the personal risk. What you can freely and legally propagate: antique roses, heirloom varieties, and anything where the patent has expired, generally varieties introduced more than 20 years ago. Climbing roses like New Dawn, old garden roses, many heritage varieties. Diagnostic test. Before you take a single cutting, search your rose's cultivar name in the Help Me Find Roses database. It lists patent information for thousands of varieties. Takes 2 minutes, and you'll know exactly where you stand. Selecting and taking the cutting. Once you know what you're legally clear to propagate, selection matters as much as timing. The ideal cutting is pencil thickness. Thicker, and it struggles to initiate roots efficiently. Thinner, and there's not enough stored energy to sustain it through the rooting period. 6 to 8 inches long, taken from a stem that just finished blooming. Mature enough to have woody structure but still actively growing. And the parent plant's health transfers directly to the cutting. A stressed or disease-ridden plant produces cuttings that root poorly, even under perfect conditions. Take from your healthiest, most vigorous growth. Cut just below a leaf node. That's where root initiation is most likely to happen. Remove all leaves from the lower half. Leave 2 to 3 leaves at the top. Enough for photosynthesis. Not so many that water loss overwhelms the cutting. Use sharp, sterilized pruners. A clean cut heals faster and resists infection. A crushed or torn cut is an open door for fungal problems. The rooting medium and humidity setup. Roots need 2 things to develop: moisture and oxygen. Most propagation advice only talks about moisture. Keep it moist, mist regularly. That's correct, but incomplete. Waterlogged medium has no oxygen, and root development needs oxygen at the base of the cutting just as much as it needs moisture. Equal parts coarse sand and perlite, or perlite alone. It holds enough moisture to keep the cutting hydrated while still letting oxygen reach the base. Diagnostic test. Squeeze a handful of your rooting medium. It should hold its shape, but release only a few drops of water, not a stream. If water pours out, it's too wet. If it crumbles completely, it's too dry. Fill a pot at least 6 inches deep. Water it thoroughly before inserting the cutting, then insert 2 to 3 inches deep and firm the medium gently. Then build your humidity tent. A clear plastic bag on sticks so it doesn't touch the leaves, or a clear plastic bottle with the bottom cut off. The goal is high humidity around the leaves, not more water at the roots. Rooting hormone is optional but genuinely helpful. Dip the base, tap off the excess. A thin coat is enough. Light, location, and the patience phase. Established roses need 6 hours of direct sun minimum. An unrooted cutting needs the opposite. Direct sun drives water loss. The cutting has no roots to replace yet. It wilts under the stress instead of putting energy toward rooting. Bright indirect light. A north or east-facing spot outdoors, or a few feet back from a bright window. And then, the hardest part. Leave it alone for at least 4 weeks. Don't check for roots by pulling it up. Don't chase moisture by overwatering. Don't move it into more sun because it looks pale. Check for condensation on the inside of your humidity tent. If you see it, you're fine. If it's bone dry, mist lightly. That's your only job for the first month. Expect a success rate somewhere between 50 and 80%, depending on variety and timing. Build that in before you start, and a 60% success rate feels like a win instead of a failure. How to know it actually worked. 4 to 6 weeks in, here's how to check. The tug test, gently, and gently means gently, pinch the cutting and apply the lightest upward pressure. An unrooted cutting pulls free with almost no resistance. A rooted cutting holds. You'll feel a firmness, almost a slight springiness, that an unrooted cutting simply doesn't have. Watch for new growth that keeps coming steadily over weeks, with increasingly firm stems, not one flush that stalls. If you're still uncertain after 6 weeks, you can gently tip the cutting out and check the base for small white or cream roots. If you see them, reinsert carefully. Disturbing young roots sets them back, but they'll recover if you're gentle. Once roots are confirmed, wean off the humidity tent slowly, an hour a day, then 2, then remove it entirely over about a week. Get the timing right, check the legal status, give it the right medium and humidity, and then leave it alone long enough to actually work. That's the entire method. No tricks required. If this saved you a cutting, hit that like button. It's the single fastest way to tell YouTube to put this in front of another gardener who's about to bury a rose stem in a potato. And if you want the rest of the system, subscribe. Every video builds on the last one. Next up, the 3 watering rules that saved David Austin roses in drought, including the one nobody talks about, and the reason most drought damage happens on roses that were watered every single day. Until next time, happy gardening.